it's Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media. We have just finished a fascinating session here in Dubai on digitalization, technological transformation, and I have one of the panelists here. Let's see, we've got Morten Berg Thomsen. It's a big name there, from Maersk, who's joined us, and he is going to share his takeaways from the panel. So what, as you sat there and contributed, what do you think people really need to hear?
I think that the main key takeaway was mostly around saying that the pandemic has not really changed the world. It's only accelerated trends that were already there, and magnified weaknesses in the supply chains. I think it was also quite interesting to hear that all the panelists agreed upon, we all need to embark on this journey. Have the mindset of saying, hey, all these technologies we hear about that we're not used to maybe in this industry are already proven and used in other industries, so maybe there's not as big as a concern to be that skeptical around it. So I think those were the two main key takeaways for me.
Interesting. I think of Maersk as quite an advanced shipping company when it comes to technology. Is that true?
I think you can say Maersk is more than 100 years old company, right? Yeah. But we are, definitely becoming a more and more tech-enabled company, because we have to. We have big and small customers out there in the world depending on us to become, a tech-enabled company to support their ambitions, their growth. And that you can also see in the way how our people hiring are going, right? We are hiring hundreds of people within the tech side today. So just the way that we structure our company, also some of the acquisitions we have made over the past 2 years have been startup companies which have a really strong tech background or tech platforms we can leverage.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you integrate two such different cultures, a long-standing established company with the startup mentality? How do you put those together?
So I think one of the things we have our venture arm called Maersk Growth, who is our arm who can go out and invest in startups. And I think also when we do acquisitions of these startups, one of the things we're really looking at is also the culture. So of course the company we buy are really much of course the startup culture, which we also want to get into the way we work to become that tech-enabled company. But it's really also to see, okay, is the cultural fit there? So it's not everyone, it's not only the tech capabilities, but also really what's the cultural mindset we're looking at.
So how do you foster a mindset of innovation?
I think back to our history as Maersk. It's really also been a mindset change for us. But also back to we talk about the industry, that we have to embark as an industry, learning to embrace new digital tools, because we have been an old-fashioned industry that like papers and being close to things, but also having that mindset to it's okay to fail, and then but to learn from failure, but learn quickly, right? So getting that agile mindset in where you run in quick sprints, test out things, learn if they or scale if they work, and accept failures and take the learnings from the failures.
Absolutely. I think one of the best sayings I've heard is fail fast.
Yeah, fails fast, and then you learn from the failure, because again, if you don't fail, then I will say you're not trying enough, right? Because then you're holding something back, right? Because I think some of the greatest learnings you get are from failure, right? And that's what we need to get used to, because we're not always been, in the past you were not, maybe failure was still a bit like, okay, then you've done something wrong, right? But actually now, if you don't fail today, maybe you're not trying hard enough.
I like that. All right, so there's a huge menu of technologies out there that are certainly growing at different rates. What are the top technologies that you think have the most potential in our industry?
So I think on the top of mind, I would say AI, so artificial intelligence. There is a saying, then everything that the human mind can compute in less than a second can be automated. And I think that just tells us the whole size of opportunity we have out there in terms of getting process optimization get running, and then freeing up human capacity to do more value-adding things. So I think definitely AI is one of them. I think IoT is also one, as we spoke about in the panel, right? Saying, hey, the ability to track and give control back to the customers. As the example I gave around, you can say we have the IoT devices on our reefer containers. So you can say, as a banana customer, you can sit with your mobile phone on an app and decide when you start to turning on the ripening of your bananas by increasing the temperature on the container. So when they arrive in Iraq or in the Middle East, wherever they arrive, they are perfect for selling, right? Even if there's delays along the way. So I think those are the two main ones, right? And then you can say something, you can say there's not a solution, but the whole data integration. You can say, how do you get, you can say, the value out of all the data you have? But that's also one of the big challenges we have ahead of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you mentioned that as data integration as a challenge. What else, say within a 5-year period, let's put that on there, what other challenge do you think this industry in particular faces?
So I think definitely, yeah, as I said, data, because again, we are, you can say, as you can say, as an industry, we are old-fashioned, so you can say, just to get the whole landscape, to you can say have shared platforms where we can have data. The other thing is, you say, if we want to be to have tech and digitization running in our industry, then we need the right people. And you could say, how do you take an old-fashioned industry as shipping to suddenly become attractive for people who comes out of Silicon Valley or the Amazons or the Google of the world, right? So each of us as in the companies need to figure out how do you change your recruitment strategy, that you no longer just look for logistics people or shipping people, but suddenly you need to attract the top talent data scientist girl who's sitting in San Francisco and be relevant for her, both in terms of, you can say, the purpose you have, whether it's the whole package you get for them, right? So, and also how do you educate your own people and build their capabilities so you stay relevant to them, right? So I think definitely the people part is one, the data part is another one, and then we spoke a little bit about also just our mindset as an industry. I think we need to change that as well, right? To, you can say, embrace these tools that are out there and proven in other industries.
Okay, that's good. That's a lot of things we have to tackle, right?
Yeah, a lot of exciting times ahead of us, but also a lot of opportunities in terms of learning and development for each one of us.
That's fantastic, inspirational. So I want to thank you for joining us today and giving us all of that great information and insight.
My pleasure, and it's great to be back at the Breakbulk event.
So good.
Thank you.